He stole millions, built a heroin empire that stretched across state lines, outmaneuvered powerful crime syndicates, and embarrassed federal investigators at the height of their pursuit, then vanished without a trace. No dramatic shootout, no televised arrest, no confirmed death. Just silence. Imagine rising from poverty to become one of the most powerful independent drug traffickers in America, generating millions of dollars every week, only to disappear at the exact moment authorities were preparing to bring you down. No verified sightings. No body. No final chapter. This is the story of Frank Matthews, the kingpin whose disappearance remains one of the most haunting mysteries in American criminal history. Frank Matthews was born in rural North Carolina during the 1940s, growing up in poverty with limited opportunities. His early life offered no shortcuts to wealth or influence. What he developed instead was ambition, sharp, relentless, and fearless. As a young man, he understood that traditional routes to success would take years if they worked at all. The streets of America in the 1960s offered something different: speed, fast money, high risk, and the possibility of rapid transformation. Matthews moved to New York City and eventually settled in Harlem, a neighborhood alive with culture, music, and community, but also increasingly entangled in the heroin trade. At the time, the heroin market was dominated by organized crime families, particularly mafia groups that controlled supply chains and distribution routes. They dictated prices, territories, and protection. Most dealers operated under their authority. Matthews refused. Instead of submitting to established bosses, he studied the structure of the drug trade. He analyzed how heroin entered the country, who handled transportation, and where the greatest profits were made. He realized the true money wasn't in selling small quantities on street corners, and a move that shocked many within the underworld. Matthews formed direct connections with overseas suppliers, cutting out the mafia middlemen entirely. By eliminating intermediaries, he reduced costs and dramatically increased profits. More importantly, he gained independence. That independence made him wealthy and extremely dangerous. By the early 1970s, Matthews had built a heroin distribution network spanning multiple states, including New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. His operation functioned with calculated precision. Couriers transported narcotics across state lines. Distributors managed local sales. Matthews oversaw strategy and expansion. Millions of dollars flowed through his organization every week. Adjusted for inflation, the sums would be staggering today. Unlike flamboyant criminals who attracted attention through reckless displays of wealth, Matthews maintained discipline. He enjoyed luxury high-end cars, upscale apartments, expensive clothing, but avoided unnecessary publicity. Associates describe him as intelligent, calm, and strategic. He approached the drug trade like a business executive managing a corporation. Loyalty was essential, and operations were structured carefully to avoid leaks. But no empire grows unnoticed. Federal authorities began to realize Matthews was not just another dealer, but one of the largest independent heroin distributors in the country. His refusal to cooperate with established crime families disrupted the traditional balance of power. Law enforcement intensified investigations. Surveillance teams monitored his movements. Wiretaps captured conversations. Informants were pressured to provide information. Prosecutors quietly built a case designed not just to arrest him, but to dismantle his entire network. For a time, Matthews seemed untouchable. He had avoided serious convictions before. Witnesses often refused to testify. Evidence sometimes collapsed in court. His network remained loyal. He carried himself with confidence, believing he could outmaneuver authorities once again. But by 1973, the situation had changed. The investigation was coordinated and aggressive. Indictments were being prepared. Arrest was imminent. Then came the turning point. Somehow, Matthews received a warning. Whether it came from a compromised official, a confidential informant, or someone within his organization remains unknown. What matters is that he knew the walls were closing in. At that moment, he faced a choice: surrender, fight, or run. He chose something far more calculated. He prepared to disappear. When federal agents finally moved in to arrest him, they found emptiness. Matthews was gone. His girlfriend was gone. Large amounts of cash were gone. Apartments had been cleared carefully. There were no signs of struggle, no evidence of a frantic escape. The departure appeared methodical, almost rehearsed. One of the most powerful heroin traffickers in America had vanished without confrontation. The response was immediate. A nationwide manhunt was launched. His name appeared on most wanted lists. Investigators chased leads across multiple states and even internationally. Reports surfaced of sightings in distant cities. Rumors spread that he had fled overseas. Some claimed he had changed his identity. Millions of dollars were spent pursuing possibilities, yet every promising lead dissolved. There were no confirmed photographs of Matthews after 1973. No verified arrests under an alias. No body conclusively linked to him. As years turned into decades, the mystery deepened. Unlike many fugitives who eventually resurfaced through financial records, informant testimony, or accidental exposure, Matthews remained invisible. His disappearance generated multiple theories. One theory suggests he successfully escaped overseas, possibly to a country with limited extradition agreements at the time, with significant cash reserves and international contacts. It is plausible he built a new life under a different name. In the 1970s, before digital databases and biometric tracking, vanishing was far more achievable than it is today. Another theory proposes betrayal. The drug trade is built on fragile alliances. Rivals may have eliminated him and buried the truth along with his body. If so, the absence of remains would ensure permanent uncertainty. Silence can be protection in criminal circles. More speculative ideas suggest hidden complications in the investigation. While no verified evidence supports secret arrangements, sealed records and unanswered questions have fueled suspicion for decades. What makes this case so compelling is not simply that Matthews disappeared, it is that he disappeared completely. Criminal enterprises usually leave traces: financial patterns, cooperating witnesses, forensic evidence. In this case, there is no definitive proof of escape or death. It is as though he anticipated every move and executed a final strategy designed to erase himself from history. Over time, his disappearance transformed him from trafficker to legend. Had he been arrested and imprisoned, his story might have faded into court records. Instead, the unanswered questions amplified his myth. One of America's most wanted men walked away from history.